What up? Welcome into the Swish Masters Podcast. We got a loaded show for you today. We're talking about this crazy first 2 days of NBA free agency. We got trade talks. We got Dame. He's getting out of Portland. He's coming to my team potentially. We got
Potentially.
we got a lot of dudes getting the bag. We got extensions. We got trades. We got movement. We got everything, man. Tune in. Swish Masters coming to you. Free agency, man, it's upon us. And we got big news. Big news out of the West Coast. Portland's one of their best players ever, Damian Lillard, has officially requested a trade, man. Been many years up in Portland. Many ups and downs for Dame and the team and the squad. And he was trying to wait it out for a long time. Try to get to a point where they could rebuild and make something work around him that could get him into contention, and it didn't come into fruition, man. Dame has officially requested a trade.
Yeah, bro. Are we surprised by this? Are y'all actually surprised by this? Swish Masters basketball fans, listen. Dame has waited a long time to get this team to be like up there. That's all he wanted. He just wants a chance to compete. And let's look at the moves that the Portland Trail Blazers did. One, you don't trade a valuable pick that you have for veteran players. Okay, that can help Dame. You keep and draft Scoot Henderson again. In this situation, that's a great point guard in the future to have. For real. Portland in a good spot, but that's just one move y'all did. Two, the only free agent move y'all did so far is sign Draymond Green to a 5-year deal. A big deal, by the way, which I'm not sure that's the smartest move money-wise, but I was like, okay, that still doesn't really move the needle for Portland. That's literally the only move they did.
Yeah.
Only move. And now Dame questions trade. I mean, it's not that surprising, y'all. And by the way, so there's literally only one team that's reported he's gonna go to. He put it out there himself, y'all. Like, that's Miami is the place that he'll go to. It's basically a done deal right now. So my question to you is like, Zay, are you worried that Damian will probably be traded somewhere else because he doesn't have a no trade clause? They can technically trade him wherever they want to for the best deal. Miami doesn't have the most assets. The Jazz are rumored to be in the hunt. The Clippers are rumored to be in the hunt. Yeah. And to make this deal work, Miami needs a 3-team deal to work out. They need 3 teams to be involved. So, of course, we have the Heat in Portland. They still need a 3rd team to be involved. So, the Nets have been rumored to be involved a little bit. But, these are all just rumors. Yeah. But same thing, though. Are you worried that Dame could go somewhere else?
Am I worried? I wouldn't say worried is the word I would use, but it is possible that he could go somewhere else, especially with him not having a no trade clause. The Blazers ultimately have the control in the situation, and I think I'm optimistic, and I really know that Miami is prioritizing this trade happening, finding a way to make it happen. So I really believe at the end of the day he'll end up in Miami, but there are 28 other teams out there with, we can do this, we can do that, we can put together draft picks, we can put together this package. It all really just depends on what the Trailblazers are looking to get. What are they willing to accept, I guess, in this situation. For the Heat, I agree that I think it'll be best if we can add a partner in the trade with Portland. I've been seeing a few scenarios, a few different situations. I've heard this player is off limits, this player is this, we need this many draft picks. I've heard a lot of stuff, but I'm pretty confident that Dame has let it be known that Miami is the destination for him, and I think everyone is eager to see it happen. Just don't know how it's going to happen. I believe that it's going to happen though. I mean, if you look at the past few superstar trade requests, obviously we're going to get into James Harden, but you look at him, you look at KD, they've essentially gotten to where they wanted to.
Yeah,
Superstars have kind of had that little sway, even though they didn't have a no trade clause. So I'm kind of thinking that Dame has a really, I wouldn't say 100%, but a highly high percentage chance of going to the Heat as he's requested, even though he doesn't have no trade clause.
yeah. I will say this though. We have seen recently Donovan Mitchell really thought he was going to go to the Knicks.
Yeah.
But he went to the Cavaliers, which is kind of, that came out of left field, you know what I'm saying? Although, again, Donovan is now on the same level as Dame. And the difference here, too, is that Dame has been a loyal soldier and for the Trailblazers, so that's a difference there. But in the past, most of the time, superstars get to go where they want to go.
Yeah.
Even if they've been there a long time. The most other recent example, like James Harden, was kind of tumultuous. Like it was difficult for him to move. Yeah. So I want to go there. But I would say, all right, Russ, for example, long time OKC, he was ready to go. He wanted to get the trade to Houston, and he got there. So I think that's a more recent example I can look at compared to like the short term and Donovan Mitchell, who has been with the Jazz a couple years.
Yeah.
So it does look, all signs point go with the Heat, man. And then within the deal, you see Tyler Hero is involved. His name is in the rumors. We kind of predicted that a little bit. We kind of talked about that before. So it's just all about a matter of when, and when that drops, we'll react to that. I'm sure you'll be happy. And all signs point to Dame being a member of the Heat. And when that does happen, we'll see what the roster looks like. We'll see what the moves they potentially make. But yeah,
we'll see, man. I'm definitely looking forward to it. And like you said, Dame has been with the Trailblazers his entire career. Stuck with them through plenty of ups and downs, and I feel like you never know these days, but I feel like they would want to honor his request, at least, especially for what he's done for that team, for that organization, for that city. I hope that they honor what he's wanting, especially after all this time.
Yeah, hopefully so. And again, this has been a long time coming, bro, because even before the situation I talked about, this trading CJ, that's kind of the beginning of it too, bro, and not actually finding pieces to really boost the team after that, so it's just,
yeah, it's been a void for a minute.
Yeah.
Beginning of the end.
Say mentioned we were getting to the James Harden situation. So get this. First, let's just recap James Harden's career so far. Drafted OKC, one of my favorite players, OKC. Kind of bombed out in the playoffs a little bit, but it's all good. James Harden still loves you. Beat Sam Presti, tried to cheapen him a little bit with the deal, but he went to the Rockets, made a name for himself, made a step back a thing. Drawing fouls a thing, man. Superstar in Houston. Getting close to the finals. He had some couple bad playoff performances. Requests a trade. Forces himself out of Houston. To go to the Nets. To be a new big three with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden, right? Didn't like that situation. Question another trade. Ends up in Philly, playing with Joel Embiid, top MVP candidate this past season, right? James Harden had some up and down performances in playoffs, but ultimately flamed out.
Yeah.
Now, James Harden. He opts into his player option, which is surprising, by the way. Instead of just being a free agent, opts into his option because you want that money, and requests a trade. To where? I don't know. Because he opted in, it makes it pretty difficult to get this trade going. And depending on who you are, you may consider Damian Lillard to be a more valuable asset than James Harden at this point in his career. I feel like most NBA teams will do that and will say that. So James Harden, you're in a pretty good situation already. Doc Rivers was fired, man. Some people probably could argue it's because of him. I'm just saying. You got Nick Nurse, championship head coach. Yeah. Philly is not a bad situation. Not bad at all.
No.
So, first of all, I don't know why he requested this trade. And what team are you going to go to? I know he wants to go to a contender probably. There's rumors about the Suns. There was rumors about the Clippers. There was rumors about the Heat, but you know, I don't know, man. Where do you think this whole James Harden situation, and where do you see him ultimately ending up?
James Harden in recent years has been interesting. He had a very interesting exit out of Houston for sure. Got to Brooklyn. It was looking like, oh, it's showtime in Brooklyn and BK, and things fell apart very quickly with the injury and just, you know, players not wanting to be there, organization dysfunction. You get to the Sixers and, you know, he's hurt. He's banged up the first little half of the season he gets there, and then all right, the summer comes around, 2022. All right, he's back. He's ready. He's good to go. We're seeing him in the gym. We're seeing him hoop. You know, and for the most part, he was. Got to the playoffs. Joel Embiid MVP, and he flames out again. And it's just like, like two things I think about this whole James Harden trade situation. I personally don't think that at this point in his career, James Harden can be the best player on a championship team. And secondly, I don't think James Harden can be the second player on a championship team to somebody else. And what I'm trying to say is that we saw what he was with Philly this year, and I feel like James Harden isn't ready to take the back seat, if that makes sense. I feel like he wants to do what he's been doing, what made him be the, you know, scoring, 3-time scoring, 2-time assist champ. Like, he has the ball in his hands. He's the playmaker. He's the scorer. He's, you know, he has the most possessions. And it's at a point in his career where he's thinking like, all right, this is how I hoop, and I won this way, so I'm going to stick to what I do. But he didn't really adjust his game enough. Well, I'm not going to say enough, but the right way in Philly. I feel like at times he deferred to Embiid, but then he was just another player on the floor. He wasn't at times aggressive. He wasn't taking shots that we were expect him to. And he didn't know how he would fit. And I feel like now he's wanting out because he wants to be himself again. But at the same time, if he's wanting a championship, I can't see him doing that like what he was doing in Houston and winning unless he has, I don't know, the perfect puzzle pieces, which I don't know what that means right now because he's going to go into another situation. I've heard about the Clippers. I've heard, different teams, and it's kind of hard to see where he could land. One, because like I said, I don't think he can be the number one guy. I've heard about him going back to Houston, which is like, that to me just is not going to move the needle for that team, for him. And two, if he were to go and be traded to a team like the Clippers, is he going to be able to, at this point in his career, is he going to be a complementary piece to another superstar? Can he be able to get you 20 and 10 consistently and make the right play with the Clippers or with the Suns or anybody? You know what I mean? Like, I don't really know if he has that in his mindset. So until I see that, this is just, to me, it's James Harden's window of being a champion. To me, it's kind of slimming or closing. And then two, what team is, especially if you're a team that's wanting to win a championship, wanting to be a top contender in the league, what are you going to give up for him? And then two, what are you going to get out of him? It's kind of hard to say at this point because we don't know what James Harden is getting. If he has a game where he's going for 45 and 12 and 10 rebounds, or is he going to go for a game where he gets 8 points and he shoots 8 for 22 and struggles to handle the ball? It's just kind of hard to say. I like James Harden a lot, and this is no dig at him, but over the past few years, I just don't know where his mind is. If I knew where his mind was, if he was like, all right, I can be the second guy, the third option, whatever, or is he going to, or does he want to be the first guy, get the most points and shots and everything, and call the shots? But that means basically building everything around him and hoping that it works. So I don't know what team wants to do that and where his mind is as far as where he is in his career.
Yeah. It's been reported that Harden requested a trade because he was extremely upset at how the team handled his free agency. So, and to go a little bit more details about that, there's multiple reports about this. Even Nick Wright talked about it. Nick Wright has contacts in that Sixers organization. So, like, the Sixers have been like in trouble for the word slipping my mind, the official word.
Tampering?
Yes, there we go. Tampering. They've been in trouble for tampering. And with tampering, you talk to people before you're supposed to. Free agency open like a certain time on a certain day. James Harden used to getting treatment like, hey, what we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So like, and to be honest, like all teams do this. There's a reason all this news broke out right at 6:00. just saying.
Yeah.
But still, James Harden didn't like how he was being treated. So, and that led him to requesting a trade. Again, opting to his player option limits his choices, but James Harden has a history of forcing things to go his way. Like if the Sixers don't trade him, and this was reported very, very recently, that they haven't ruled out trying to mend the fences and try to keep him. James Harden's on an expiring contract, so he has to prove it. It's a prove it year again for him. So he has to have a successful season. He has to ball out. So me personally, I think his best bet is to stay in Philly and try it again. Because the teams that are willing to try to get you are the Clippers and James, with Kawhi and PG already signed off on trying to get him there. Other than that, the options are limited because otherwise most teams are trying to get Dame. Even the Clippers. I bet the Clippers are still trying to get Dame. Like,
Yeah.
it's tough. So, and I agree with you saying, man. James has kind of proved that he's not the best player on the championship team. We've seen that in Houston. A couple of years in Houston.
Yeah.
So, and even though he's so close, I still remember the conference finals. So close. Just bad, man. And I believe he's still the top. I think he's number one turnovers in the playoff game. So, yeah, man, James Harden. I don't know. We'll monitor this. We'll see what happens. But I think the best place he needs to be is to stay in Philly, and try to prove it. Where do you think he should be? Like,
this is my thing with Philly, though. We saw how Ben Simmons got the treatment, and obviously it's a different situation than Ben.
Sure.
But Philly is all about Philly, and right, if you request a trade, but now you got to stick around for a while, it's gonna be
that's a good point.
a little tension with your teammates, and then the fans are not going to be happy.
That's a good point.
As a player, and you request a trade, that's something you have to deal with. But I do think that this probably will be the best situation. I really just want him to adjust his game. If he adjusts his game,
but I don't think he wants to, because you remember the comments he made about he was like, after he had that good game in the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, yo, I can do this. Like, they, like, this is what I do. They had me adjust my game, whatever. Like, comments like that, and I was paraphrasing right there.
Mm-hmm.
Comments like that shows, like, okay, he's not willing to do it. And then Doc Rivers' comments, that doesn't help at all.
Nope.
Talking about how James is as a player.
Yeah.
And his unwillingness to adjust. So it's like, it doesn't look good. But we've seen him do it, though. We've seen it with the Nets. It's just not the same, man. It's just not the same James Harden.
I think looking at the Nets versus the Sixers, Nets never had a dominant inside presence like Embiid.
That's true.
And you're playing a different type of two-man game when you're looking at Philly with Embiid and Harden. And it was a little more free-flowing in Brooklyn, obviously. They all kind of took turns at times, and they have pick-and-roll options with Claxton. But Embiid is like a guy that you have to get the ball down low in the post. And James Harden, I don't think he's ever had to, as I'm looking back at his teams, there's never been a dominant big like that. He's never played with someone who you give the ball to in the post and then you work around them. He's used to being on the perimeter.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's capable of this. He's able to cut, because I've seen it at OKC, even in Houston in early days. But yeah, I don't think he wants to. Philly is like where I could see him, like, potentially. But other than that, maybe only other team that makes sense to me is the Clippers. And then on top of that, the Clippers were rumored to be shopping Paul George. So it's like, okay, maybe that's a swap. But I don't know if you want to give that up for James Harden, because I feel like, not that I'm not saying who's better or whatever, but I'm saying that what Paul George is able to do for you on offense, on defense, and the way he fits as a piece as the team like emerges, it's not the same thing if you get James Harden in the mix. And even like if they keep PG, Harden with Kawhi
doesn't move it.
It's still kind of the same situation, because Kawhi is an all-around guy who also posts up.
And
kind of
defense
takes
is a question, man. Like, defensively, you lose something. So
yes,
yeah, that doesn't work for me either, man. The only way that can potentially work is if they keep Paul George and Kawhi.
Yeah,
That's the thing. I don't know what assets these people have. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's unrealistic. Because the money situation.
that's
To make
true.
that work, you're gonna have to give up YRPG just because of the money alone. But I don't know. We'll see. Or they can do a combination of role players that they have and sacrifice their depth a little bit. But that's about it.
It's a tough situation, but I'm eager to see where he ends up, whether
Me
that's with
too.
Philly or somewhere
I,
else.
I think he'll. I don't know. We'll see. You made a good point about the team dynamics, though.
If he wants to be the old James Harden, quote unquote, and be the scoring champ, he'll go somewhere where he won't really be able to win a championship. Like I can see him going to somewhere. I'm not gonna name a team, but
Hey, what
someone.
about the Rockets were, and they were a long time rumor. Maybe the Rockets will be the destination.
And the Rockets could be. How that like falls into place, I don't know, but I don't like that. I don't even like that because they have so many guards and they just signed more guards. So it's just
Exactly.
like, what are you trying to do here?
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see, man. That's tough. So free agency is truly upon us. We saw a lot of big deals in the first couple of days, man, and a big question mark was around superstar point guard Kyrie Irving. But he has officially re-signed with the Dallas Mavericks for 3 years, $100+ million. We were all kind of wondering, like, what's Kyrie gonna do? Or is he gonna go to the Lakers? Is he going to the Suns? Where's he gonna end up? And he ended up staying with the Mavs. So what do you think what do you think of this signing, man? What do you think this means for Kyrie and Dallas?
Yep, it's a 126 million for 3 years, including the player option. Yeah, it was funny because this is one of the first dominoes to really fall,
Yeah.
because we were all wondering, but as soon as free agency opened, revealed that they kept him. I mean, if you're the Mavericks, you kind of had to do that because you already gave up so much for Kyrie. And if you walked in free agency, you just lose at that point. So at least if you resign him, you can have the option to at least trade him if things don't work out. Now, Kyrie is still a very valuable player. His just availability has been a question. That's really been the only question for Kyrie. Availability, whether it's injury or his own personal reasons. So we'll see how the Mavericks do this season. Luka is looking good. I have to assume that Kyrie, with the full, off-season program with the Mavericks, more chemistry building with Luka, all that would be better. Yeah. I would kind of have to assume that. But looking at other deals that they made, the Mavericks also got Seth Curry, Dante Exum, and Dwight Powell returns to the Mavericks. So all those are good moves. Because one of the things about the Mavs is that they have to build their depth. And these are pretty good players. So yeah, you're the Mavericks. Good job. Just good luck with Kyrie. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. I think Kyrie also knows that he has to come out and show his worth. I think from what I've seen so far in the offseason, I've seen him some of his workouts. He seems focused. And I gotta shout out Kyrie and shout out to his stepmom becoming the first female agent to sign and to negotiate this type of contract. So shout out to Mrs. Irving. You know what I mean? That's history in the making. And now I think Kyrie's gonna do well. Him and Luka have, like you said, have some time to mesh and the team can build and they can get better. And they got Jason Kidd at the helm, so they're gonna be I think they're gonna be good. I like this. I want to see how they do for sure. Another big re-signing, man. Draymond, Money Green, re-signed with the Golden State Warriors. So the core stays intact. Dre, Steph, and Clay. Added CP3. I'm looking to see what they're gonna look like, and it's gonna be interesting, man. But Draymond, obviously, we were wondering. Like, I heard rumors about the Lakers. I heard stuff about other teams and wanting more money and everything, and especially with his the punch, everything from then on has just been like, all right, well, you're a problem, but I think they see his value. His presence is important. I think it was a good move, man. So, what do you think about Draymond staying with the Warriors?
Yeah, and his deal was 4 years, 100 million. And honestly, I was kind of surprised about that a little bit. And that's 4 years. Draymond definitely wins in this situation.
Yeah.
He does have a player option in the final year, though. But yeah, like you said, the trio stays intact. The core stays. I'm really interested to see what happens after this. They also got Corey Joseph.
Yeah.
And we already talked about Chris Paul. I don't know how this is going to work. I still don't. I'm glad. I was like, in our previous podcast, that we talked about, like, yo, they got to keep Draymond Green because otherwise
it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. So at least you got him, and you can still try to build around. I still say they need to go after a big to be competitive.
Boogie Cousins, I'm just saying.
He's out there. There's still some big men out there.
Yeah.
So they're making it do some more things. So remember, for a minute, Draymond was linked to the Lakers, like you mentioned. He was linked to Portland for a minute, but nope, he's back with the Warriors. And shouts to the Warriors for getting the deal done.
They want to keep it going, and Draymond's been a part of each of their championships, so you could arguably say that without him, they might not be there.
That's true. Good point.
So we have another re-signing. I'm kind of not surprised by this one, but Chris Middleton staying with the Bucks after all. Got him a new deal. Go up there and bang it out with Giannis. Brooke Lopez also re-signed with the Bucks, and his twin brothers joining him. Robin Lopez also going to the Bucks. I'm kind of not surprised here. Expected Middleton to be there. I think he has found the home in Milwaukee. Obviously, him and Giannis and that group they're a tight knit group. So I think it's good for the Bucks. I think they also have kept their core pretty much, and I think it'll be a good look for them in the future, especially with Middleton getting the summer off. He can get back healthy after that knee injury he had this past season he was dealing with, and still got Drew, and you got the Lopez twins, and you got Giannis. Like, can't complain.
Yeah, the contract value, 3 years, $102 million. Good deal for him. You mentioned the Lopez twins. Jay Crowder returned. I was kind of surprised by that.
He did.
Just considering the playtime, yeah, he returned for a 1 year deal, and they got Malik Beasley on a 1 year deal. So, good moves. Milwaukee definitely wants to win now. There have been rumors recently about Giannis. If he's not happy with Milwaukee, if he doesn't sign an extension, teams are eyeing out and looking out for that. So, if the Bucks are still in win now mode, they have to have a better season than how they closed out this past year. I mean, don't get me wrong. Again, the Heat are a great team, but still, to lose to an 8th seed, just saying that doesn't need to happen. Like, when things like that happens, most of the time there are monumental changes, and the change that happened was, of course, to get rid of the coach. I wonder how Adrian Griffin's going to handle this. I'm excited to see how he coaches.
Yeah.
because apparently Giannis is all in on him. That's the main thing. So I wonder what scheme he's going to implement. I wonder how the players are going to respond to him. You know, just stuff like that. So,
Yep.
we'll see. But shout out to Middleton getting that bag, because some will argue that's an overpay, considering his recent injury history. I can understand that.
Yeah.
Brook Lopez, that's a big win. Big win right there.
Definitely was key.
Yeah. I wonder if getting Robin Lopez has something to do with that too. I don't know. But that's cool. We'll see the Twins play.
For sure.
Man, these players are getting money, bro. NBA offseason time. It's time to extend some of these get these rookie extensions going. And these players are getting paid, man. A couple of max extensions, bro. LaMelo Ball worth up to $260. Tyrese Halliburton up to $260. Anthony Edwards up to $260.
Man,
crazy,
bags.
Dude, Desmond Bain, bro, getting paid. How much you get paid again?
Desmond Bain, $207 million. Hey, man, if one of these guys just gives us like 0.5% of their for a year, we'll be good,
bro.
A couple months salary.
Getting paid, man. Getting paid. Really? Shout out to those players getting paid, bro. Those extensions, crazy. Also, just worth mentioning too, Kristaps Porzingis got an extension. You know, with that, he got traded to the Celtics. Mm-hmm. It's like 2 year, $60 million. So the Celtics have him for some years. You know, as they try to make a run for a championship.
Yeah.
So, man, after all these deals, man, what do you think about some of these deals that happen, bro? Like, just shout out to those players getting the money. They're all in situations where it's like not the best competitive wise, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I got to shout out to the guys, man. They got to the league and handled business, and now they're reaping the benefit, man. It's really cool to see. The one I'm really like just impressed about, at least his statement, it was Anthony Edwards talking about his new organization. It's gonna open up, and in his statement he said, "I'm humbled, appreciative, and excited to remain in Minnesota as part of this incredible Timberwolves organization. It's amazing to see where hard work can take you." As part of his new max contract extension, he's introducing a new initiative in the Minnesota community called Don't Follow the Wave, stating that I want to do everything I can to help as many young people as I can, help set them up on the right path. So I think that's really cool, man. Not only, that he's able to reap the benefits of his hard work, like he said, but being able to give it back and build his community, build that city, that organization around him. That's really cool. And giving other young kids an opportunity to get onto this path and learn and do something great. So I'm really happy about that. And I think Ant is a really good dude overall. He's still young. He's got, some learning to do, but overall I think his mind and his heart, they're in the right place.
Yeah, shout out to them, bro. And shout out to that organization. They also made some good moves, getting some good players there too. And they got the kid Alexander Walker there, Troy Brown, Shaq Milton. Yeah. They got some good players too, man. We'll see how they turn out, but that's what's up, bro.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to these guys. Hey, just remember, Swish Masters, we're shouting y'all out. So we accept Zelle and Cash Out, Venmo, if it's on your heart. But we appreciate it.
Cool, man. And we talked about Tyrese too, man. Like the Pacers, they also got Bruce Brown, which is pretty impressive, man.
It's also pretty funny after what his coach, former coach, said at the parade.
What do you say? I forgot, man. What do you say?
He said Bruce is coming back. They're bringing him back. They're running it back, but Bruce is out of there. Bruce got the bag. He said, I got my chip and I'm out.
Right. And the Pacers also got Obi Toppin from the trade with the Knicks, man. Yeah, I'm surprised about that trade a little bit, but
Me too.
that's still a good asset to have, if you're in Indiana. If anything, you're gonna lob it up.
Oh yeah, I think I saw Tyrese Halliburton said he's gonna throw it up
somewhere. Yeah,
he'll play somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Obi will find it. Hey, he can't walk. That boy, he got hops, man. So it's gonna be fun times in Indiana. They're gonna be an interesting team for sure.
Right. Yeah, man. Desmond Bain, bro. That's what's up. He's the guy in the situation that could be kind of, competitive. You know what I'm saying? Like they already got Marcus Smart, like we talked about.
Yeah.
Culture shifter. They also recently just got D Rose, man. Another
Good vet.
Yeah, Derrick Rose. So
Yeah,
it's cool to see all that, man.
100%.
But shout out to these players and organizations giving them that money, bro.
Shout out for the bag.
All right, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm gonna apologize to Rob Pelinka right now. Sir, you know what you're doing. I apologize. Moves you made this offseason, pretty solid. I ain't gonna lie, man. It's pretty solid, bro. So we know you all y'all Lakers fans out there. If you're not Lakers fans, you're a LeBron fan. So gotta talk about this. First of all, they got Cam Reddish on a 2-year deal. Taurean Prince on a 1-year deal. Gabe Vincent. I was surprised, bro. What happened right there, bro? How did Gabe not return to the Heat, man? You gotta tell me. What happened right there? Still, though, that's a valuable thing y'all have. I mean, I really thought y'all would be able to resign him.
I was hoping for it too. I like Gabe. Obviously, Gabe was an essential part of our playoff run this past season. But I think they were only able to offer him $8 million a year or something like that. The Lakers were obviously able to offer a little bit more at $11 million a year. So ultimately, I think he just got a better offer and he took it. I think he's originally from California. I think it just was a deal that made sense for him, and obviously he's going to get a good opportunity with the Lakers. And yeah, it sucks to lose him, but at the same time, I am happy for him because I think he is a very, very talented player in this league for sure. So shout out to Gabe, man. Shout out to him for what he was able to accomplish this year, his impressive play, and for his new contract. So it's still love off the court. But when we go at the Lakers, we're gonna go at him too.
Yeah, man, that's what's up. But they also got Rui Hachimura to return. Austin Reeves, that's big too.
That's a very big one.
And they got D'Angelo Russell and Jackson Hayes, which I think is underrated, but they needed that. They needed a big man.
Yep.
So those are all the moves so far.
Yeah.
That the Lakers made.
Definitely, man. They made some good moves.
A lot of good moves, man. They really filling out that roster really well. They got good wing depth. Front court looking good. Guard play is looking great. You gotta assume Gabe Vincent's gonna start at this point.
Over Russell?
I mean, just considering how Russell played when we last saw him.
Yeah, it's possible.
Schroeder was getting more minutes. So,
true.
And Austin Reeves definitely, I think he was going to move to that starting role too. Austin Reeves. He should. That actually came out too in the report. Like he'll get a more prominent role, and he deserves it, man. So, shout out to the Lakers. Those are all good moves. Really good moves.
100%.
And they could still potentially want another big man. I'm hearing in the rumor mill. So does this mean you get to go out and try to keep Mo Bamba? Mo Bamba. Tripping. All right, we can try to keep Mo or the White still out there.
Still out there. Good vet.
You know? Good vet. You need someone to go up against Jokic. So just saying, but shout out to LA for those moves, man. And where do you see this now? Does this push the needle for LA? Are they? I still want to say they're favorites in the West for me.
No,
they could potentially be a top contender in the West. Potentially, it's all about AD to me and how's LeBron gonna look.
that's the main thing you have to think about is injury status of LeBron and AD. And can AD be the best player? Because LeBron needs to be able to still be himself, but in spurts where he's not having to do it for a whole game, whole series, whole season.
Right.
That's not going to be good for him in this point in his career. Even though he's obviously father prime time. I think these are good moves. This really makes them competitive, but they're not the favorites. The Nuggets are still just too stacked at this point in the Western Conference. But they add a big man or, a couple of key pieces here and there, make some moves. I like what they're doing. They're building something good, and they did get to the conference finals with less. So I do like them.
Yeah, I like them too.
We'll see how it plays out, though. Just depends on how AD approaches the season and health status of him and LeBron.
So we know the Suns made a big trade to get Bradley Beal. They also got Jordan Gooden and Isaiah Ty in that trade with the Wizards and the Pacers. So that left them with a limited moves and cap space. So their roster was literally Bradley Beal, those two players we mentioned, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's basically it. They got campaign, right? So you also they made some moves. They got Keita Bates-Diop, Drew Eubanks, Eric Gordon, Damian Lee. I don't know how to pronounce this dude's name, man. Metu, Josh Okogie, and Yuta Watanabe. I know I pronounced his name right. How you pronounce the other dude's name? I see him all the time. I see him. I don't know how to pronounce this dude's name. Timize, Metu. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry, man. No.
Hey, man, we're trying.
No offense, bro. No offense. But either way, this is the Suns roster. I mean,
overall, man,
what are your thoughts on the moves, man?
I think they added some decent pieces. Obviously, Damian Lee was a great shooter for him this past season. Getting him back was good. Eric Gordon is a big one. Another guy who can space the floor, knock down perimeter shots, and handle the ball a little bit. Josh Okogie was really good for them. A good two-way guy. Good energy. Drew Eubanks, nice signing. Overall, these are good signings.
They are. It's filling out a little bit. You gotta get some players. You gotta get some players on the roster.
For sure. For sure.
I mean, you gotta get some players there. So, I mean,
I don't know if it's the needle, but
not really.
Definitely, they had to add some players for sure. But
it doesn't really move much for me. It's all about how they all mesh together. It's only one basketball. Yeah. How's Bradley Beal gonna mesh Kevin Durant, Devin Booker?
Yeah.
And can Devin Booker continue his track from the playoffs, man? Because he was like about unstoppable in the playoffs for a minute.
Yeah.
He had a really unbelievable stretch.
Yeah.
So
I think the biggest question for them at this point, they have Aiden at the center. Do you get other, or you got Drew Eubanks, I guess, as the backup, but
yep.
are you gonna I'm not trying to minimize his value, but are you sticking with Cameron Payne as your point guard, like starting, or are you going to go out and get another playmaking point guard who can kind of help ease some of the ball handling duties off of Booker, off of KD, off of Bradley Beal, who can get them easier shots, who can get them easier looks, and kind of be an attacker who also is able to find them and make things easier on the whole team. Because right now, I don't know if they're like looking to start Cameron Payne, if they're looking to bring him off the bench to be the spark. And what does this look like as far as sets and who's going to initiate offense? Is it going to be Book? Is it going to be Bradley? Is it who's it going to be for them? I would love to see them add a decent point guard, unless they unlock campaign and let him be that guy. But overall, they're building a roster, so I think that's a good. They're going in the right direction right now. Like you said, it just depends on how they all the big three, how they mesh.
Yeah, that is what they're missing. And it'd be interesting to see what they do as well.
For sure.
That is literally what they're missing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That is what they need. I'm assuming they're gonna probably stagger the minutes though, based on what they got. You know what I'm saying? Like Devin Booker, we seen him play make in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I would assume that he'll be. Depends on whether they start campaign or not. That Cam rest, Devin Booker be a primary playmaker with some other pieces. That's the thing though. They got so many superstars, and how they stagger the minutes. You have to assume Bradley Beal can handle it. We'll have to. He'll have some pressure to play make. We've seen KD play make a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm assuming they'll stagger the minutes, and if most of the dudes belong to campaign and Devin Booker, if they don't sign somebody else.
Yeah. I just feel like it would make it so much easier on those guys, though.
They could find somebody. Yeah,
I definitely do think like you should stagger the minutes and let them be the primary handler, but at the same time, it's like with all of them on the floor, they would be so dangerous. You know what I mean? Like if you had like
a traditional point guard.
Honestly, bro, like it's gonna be crazy. But if they had a Russell Westbrook who's just attacking, not even like. You know what I mean? Like,
if Russ went there, bro, he was just that would be so much space.
Guard, and he
can still run that pick and roll with Aiden. And
pick and roll,
find whoever.
If you don't pick him up at the rim, he's booming it on you. Or if you like suck the defense in, dump it out the Book, dump it out the Bradley, dump it out the KD. It's easy, but
he's crazy.
I don't know who's available like that for them to be able to pick up or trade for, maybe, but. That would be nice. I feel like it would make it. Then I would be looking like, okay, maybe this could be something for the Suns for real. I don't know.
Right then, yeah, that would definitely move the needle for me a little bit for real.
That would move them up the ladder.
For real, like right behind the Nuggets for me. They did something like that, but
yeah,
we'll see.
Man, we got some movement in H-Town. Rockets make some big moves. One guy that we were. Dwight Howard was inviting them to Taiwan for a minute, and I think both of us were kind of agreeing that we didn't see a big market for him, but he got a really good contract. Houston Rockets signed Dillon Brooks for $80 million. I'm surprised by that, but they signed him.
Listen, I'm not surprised about the team. I'm surprised about the money. Because when we talked about him, we were like, okay, he's gonna go to a team like the Rockets. That's literally one of the teams we talked about.
Yeah.
Or like one of those franchises. You know what I'm saying?
Young and rebuilding kind of.
Young rebuilding teams. But hey, this move doesn't look as bad considering who else the Rockets got. You know, they also got Fred VanVleet on a 3-year deal and Jock Landale.
Yep.
So like,
we know what VanVleet is capable of. All-star. Jock Landale had some solid minutes with the Suns this past season. So, really good moves.
Yeah, and shout out to VanVleet. You know, 3 years, $130 million. You know, this dude bet on himself. Got that money.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think he signed the biggest contract for an undrafted player.
That's what's up.
Shout out to Fred VanVleet, man. He hooping and holding it down. I know he wants to go out there and compete, man. So that's dope.
What's up. But yeah, this doesn't look as bad. I mean, like Dillon Brooks, he does bring you defensive tenacity, somewhat.
I mean, jokes.
Like, he can't. It just he got hit his own way.
Yeah.
Last season, man. Just turn down the distractions. Ime Udoka we believe he's a good coach, but we really see his capabilities here with this young roster with a mix of good veterans, though. You know, there's some good veterans in VanVleet, and I will say Brooks is a good veteran, but some distractions last season. Nevertheless, he is a veteran.
Yeah.
So
he is a veteran. We can agree on that. I think he's, and this is no disrespect to
I'm just
this guy.
surprised, man. I'm just surprised.
I think the world is surprised.
It's not a 1-year deal, prove it type thing. It's not even like that, bro. 4 years, $80 million. Yeah, no, that's. Hey, the Rockets have money to spend, so that's part of it too. You know, you gotta spend that money.
I guess, man. Personally, I wouldn't have spent that money. That's just me, though. But this is what I'm trying to say about Dillon Brooks is that I'm not disrespecting him. I think he does add some value when it comes to when he's focused, of course. When he's focused and he's not chirping a lot and he can just play basketball like he's getting paid to do. He can place decent perimeter defense. He can knock down a couple threes a game. You know, he can add some tenacity. He's aggressive, obviously. Can he just, like you said, stay out of his own way, play ball, be focused? That is the question. That's the only thing. Like, we don't question his basketball ability. Like, he's in the NBA, obviously.
Right,
like he can
play.
play.
In the world. Yep.
He can play for sure. It's just that the antics, you and I are not the antics type people.
Oh no.
And obviously the Grizzlies weren't either. So he found that out. But hey, I think it's good for him, and he can kind of rebrand himself. He has the opportunity to. So, and it shows good signs of faith that the Rockets want to potentially build with you and give you a 4-year deal. So take advantage and go out there, play good defense, and be a good vet. That's all you can do. But good for him.
And this is another big name free agent. Like, it was reported that Westbrook was going to take his time in free agency, and with all the James Harden news, it kind of makes sense they're going to get this deal done. So Russell Westbrook returns to the Clippers on a 2-year deal, $8 million with a player option. So basically how this looks is that, 1 year, another year with the Clippers, you'll assume he'll opt out, of course, that second year and get another bag somewhere. But the Clippers also got KJ Martin in the trade of the Rockets, and Mason Plumlee is going to return on a 1-year deal. So they're able to get both their players that played key roles last season, Mason Plumlee and Russell Westbrook. And
low deals.
Yeah, very, very low deals, and very it's different. You're getting Westbrook at a bargain at this point compared to
that's a steal.
It's basically it's really a steal at this point.
Yeah.
considering how his season ended and how well that team played against the Suns without their 2 stars, says a lot. So me personally, as a fan, I'm glad Westbrook is back with the Clippers. It makes sense. Your home is in LA, your family's in LA native. And clearly this shows that Russ wants a championship at this point to me, rather than getting the bag, because obviously he could have got a bag anywhere else.
Yeah.
Because he played himself 2-1, how he ended the season. So
Sure.
because he was also rumored with the Heat for a second, I think. I saw reports about that. But LA is home. I'm happy for him. Yeah. Shout out to the Clippers getting these players, and we'll see, because they still have a lot of depth with that team, man. Norman Powell. We'll see what they do with this James Harden situation. How does that affect the James Harden situation too, by the way? Like, how do you think? They got Westbrook, so you already feel that point guard now at this point. Do you still try to go after James Harden?
I think it's possible that we could see maybe a 3-team trade if there's a Philly Clippers type situation going on that could involve potentially Westbrook. I think they want to keep him for sure, but if they're trying to make things move around, they could ship some of these pieces that they just signed and add other pieces for sure. But I don't know. It's kind of counterproductive to me if you are signing Westbrook to be the point guard and then you bring in James Harden, who's very ball dominant, and you got to figure out the other pieces in this with PG and Kawhi, how that looks, and then Kawhi comes back from injury. I don't know. Like we talked about this, but James is kind of difficult to read right now with what he wants to do. I think he wants to be the ball handler and scorer type guy, number 1 option. I don't think he can be that on the Clippers, especially if you still have Russ and PG and Kawhi. But they do have a lot of assets, so
yeah, opting to that deal makes it so difficult for James to move, man. I'm just saying it'd be different. He opted out and was a free agent and got like a pay cut too, or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this is notable for, like, we've never seen. This is an MVP. This is like one of the biggest pay cuts for an MVP in like a long history. You know what I'm saying? A former MVP. 9-time All-Star.
Triple-double leader.
Triple-double leader. Top 75 player of all time. So I want to hear nobody say anything about like Russ being like, just
playing
going after
for
the money. Yeah, just going after the money at this point. Like, he's literally playing for a championship right now.
Game.
Yep. In LA, like,
Yeah.
and he'll still work just as hard and everything. Like, that's who Russ is.
Yeah.
I'll be very surprised if he doesn't, but I'm expecting him to play just as hard, play every game, so.
Absolutely, man. I feel like Russell Westbrook not having a double digit in his contract is like really multiple years. Well, 2 years, but we'll see.
$7.8 million for the player with the option. It's the second year, so it's essentially 1 year deal.
Essentially, yeah. But man, I'm always gonna root for Russell Westbrook for sure. He's one of the best guys to watch in the league, and just a good guy overall, man. So shout out to him, man, for still.
Yeah. We're in a world where Dillon Brooks is getting more money annually. Russell Westbrook, bro. And again, for those that don't understand, the Clippers offer all that they could. Honestly, they ain't have money to give. With 2 superstars on superstar deals already, role players already got pieces of the pie. It's a little bit you can do. So I'm very impressed that they were able to keep Mason Plumlee and Russell Westbrook, and they get a good young asset in KJ Martin. Like, that's underrated too. So
sure.
I'd say yeah, you go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just saying like the KJ Martin move was really good. Plumlee, I think they're kind of shopping Zubac, or he may be a free agent. So they definitely want to be able to have a dynamic big in Plumlee. Russell Westbrook, just generational talent. So being able to keep him for what they could, really big. I like what they're building over there too, and hopefully that they can make some moves.
They can, man. And yeah, for me now, it's all about health. They stay healthy.
Yeah.
And if they can, they really could make a run. So we talked about a couple of these teams making moves to try to get to the championship. We have to talk about the Denver Nuggets. They just won, and there it goes to try to go back there. Once you get a taste, gotta try to go back. So the Nuggets moves where they got Justin Holiday on a 1-year deal, Reggie Jackson is returning on a 2-year deal, and DeAndre Jordan is returning. And that's it. Of course, we mentioned Bruce Brown is going to the Pacers. We talked about that earlier. So at this point, Zay, are the Denver Nuggets still the leading top dogs, basically, to go back and win the championship? What do you think?
I think the Nuggets are still the number one team in the West for sure. I do feel like the loss of Bruce Brown is going to be big, especially with what he can do on both ends of the floor. Just kind of especially this year, I feel like he was very much unlocked. Playing with Jokic, guy who can help you in so many ways. Just being in the right spot, you get a bucket, or you help to get another bucket for somebody else. Is really easy. He makes the game so easy. But I think they added shooting in Justin Holiday. He's known for his shooting, so he'll get good looks with Jokic. They did keep Reggie Jackson, who did play a little bit of a role in the playoffs, as well as DeAndre Jordan, savvy vet, big man who can still give some good minutes, I think. So I think the Nuggets are still up there. I just I would have tried my best to keep Bruce Brown, though. I feel like that's going to hurt them a little bit down the line, because he brought you some depth off the bench, scoring threat. He can handle the ball as we saw this year, and he was really solid for them, two-way player. But I still think the Nuggets are in position to be the best team in the West.
Okay, yeah. Not only did they lose Bruce Brown, they also lost Thomas Bryant into your Miami Heat. Yeah. And again, I think that's a great move for the Heat. Get a big man like that, whether y'all start him or bring him off the bench.
TV.
Yeah. And y'all kept Kevin Love, signed him. So it's all about the Dame stuff with y'all before we make a decision about the Heat and where they at. Because y'all made some good moves, though, either way. Although you lost some valuable players, too. Gabe Vincent, Max Strus.
Yeah.
He went to the Cavaliers, right?
Yeah.
So.
Max went and got the bag.
But still, that's tough. Bruce Brown, I wish they kept him, but Bruce Brown earned that bag. Denver didn't really have it to give, so I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah. So at this point, I'm still gonna give Denver the benefit of the doubt, and I still give them the top, the best, the favorite to win the championship. Because you got to imagine Jim Murray is gonna go up another step at this point. Michael Porter Jr. You expect him to go up. Aaron Gordon. Yeah, I'm expecting all those players that contributed to. Yeah, it's like a monkey, a waist off your back a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And you go up to that next level. But Jamal Murray should be motivated because he hasn't even been an All-Star yet. So I feel like he'll be motivated. Jokic, he just motivated by greatness at this point.
That dude.
So
That
it's
dude is
crazy. Yeah, so as long as they got Jokic playing where he's at, and if he even gets better, it's hard to imagine, but if he gets better, adds something else to his skill set, crazy. So yeah, I still say Nuggets still up there, man.
for sure. Jokic just has everything already. It's like only thing he could if he improves on defense, it's just like, okay, now what can he not do?
Exactly.
that's that's like the only weakness in his game, and it's not even like a weakness because he's still smart on defense.
Yeah, he's still big. Like he's a plus on this
Right.
defensive side. It's not like he's a minus. So
Yeah, man. But yeah, the Nuggets are gonna compete, man. They're the top dogs to me in the West.
yeah. So since you talked about the Nuggets in the West, so what team is favored now to win the East now?
Oh, you know what I'm gonna say.
But that's not even settled though. We don't even know. All right. If
It
Dame
don't even
goes,
matter. You know what I'm gonna say.
all right. Still though,
Outside of the Heat, the number two, we'll put it there.
sure. Okay, yeah. Outside of Heat for you, who's top
Outside of the Heat,
for you?
man. I like
You gotta
Boston.
think about it. Boston made some moves.
I like
the
Boston.
Bucks. And the Bucks were able to keep Brook. They added Robin. They kept Chris. So
I'm going to say Milwaukee, and I say Milwaukee because even though we eliminated them in the first round this past playoffs, they didn't have a healthy Giannis. Now
true.
they get a healthy Giannis back. Bring in Lopez, both Lopez twins. You got Middleton, Drew Holiday, obviously one of the best two-way players in the league. They have bench depth. They have good young guys still. I feel like, and Bobby Portis, like they got key guys that they have pretty much kept intact. I feel like they had the most success in the regular season this past season, I want to say. They should be good to go as long as they can get healthy, stay healthy. With Middleton obviously missing a lot of time with his knee injury. And you know what Giannis is going to do. 100% steam train coming through, freight train coming through 100% every single time.
Every time.
I feel like that's going to be hard to beat. And they're fortified with one of the most dynamic bigs who can shoot threes, who can block shots, who can post up, who face up. Like they got a good squad, and I think they have the most experience together. So I feel like they have a slight advantage. Porzingis is good. He's long, he's big. Tatum, Brown, and Boston, they're solid, but the Marcus Smart. I feel like Marcus Smart was like the ultimate glue guy for them, and I want to see how they mesh before I like give them top, behind the Heat.
Yeah, for me, I would say, for me, it's between Philly is unstable right now. I'm not sure about Philly right now, so they're out for me. So it's between the Heat, the Bucks, and the Celtics for me. And for me, I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Bucks because like what you said, Giannis was hurt. He'll be healthy this season. You're ready to bring back some key free agents. Your roster. I trust. The bottom line, I trust Milwaukee a little bit more than I do Boston right now.
That's true.
I just trust them a little bit more. There's a certain reliability I can have with the Bucks than Boston. Like you said, Marcus Smart is a big question. There's a big hole to fill, leadership wise, defensively, all those things, and how will Kristaps fit? Can he stay healthy? I mean, I know he had a pretty good season with the Wizards, but still, that's always gonna be a question because he's been riddled with that throughout his career. Now it seems to be on the up, but can it stay that way? Who's gonna step up between Jason Taylor and Jaylen Brown? Can both of them step up?
Yeah.
So it's tough, and The only question mark I have with the Bucks is just how the new coach will fit. You know, will you get the buy-in of the players? I would assume that he will.
Yeah.
That's the only question I have. And if the Heat do get Dame, depending on who they give up, I may change my answer. It depends on who they give up and like who y'all get. Just because that's in the air right now, that's why I can't really say the Heat right now. Because overall, Bucks have the better talent than the Heat right now, as constructed right now.
Yeah. Hey, don't sleep on Cleveland either. I know they may be shifting Darius Garland, but I feel like they still have a really nicely constructed roster, and Donovan Mitchell should be motivated.
He should be, especially after the exit last year. They do have the Cavs got Karis LeVert back.
Yep. They signed Georges Niang and our guy Max Strus, adding a great dynamic shooter in Max. So
in a signing trade.
Yeah, I think they could be a sleeper, but I'm looking for them to do great things too.
It could be, and the team that took a step back to me. I mean, I don't know why the Knicks they're not really doing much this offseason. They got Dante DiVincenzo, but and you traded Obi Toppin, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they got back in return for Obi, but they got to figure out Julius Randle's situation.
Yep, that's true.
Brunson is. I trust Brunson completely.
Me too. He earned that.
But need Randle to be the second and to be the consistent second. To me. Otherwise,
it's pretty cool. I mean, their roster's still pretty straight, you know. They got Jalen quickly, Quentin Grimes, DiVincenzo, RJ Barrett, Josh Hart still, Julius Randle, Mitch Robinson, basically.
They should just add shooting, honestly.
Yeah.
Add some three shooting.
Yeah, they'll probably be fine.
Yeah. We'll see.
But yeah, that's all you got, though. Favorites in the East. We both got, Zay got the Heat. I got the Bucks. In the West, we both still agree with the Nuggets. So let us know y'all thoughts, though. Y'all agree?
Heat in 7 this time. Man, unfortunately, part of the business, man. We saw a lot of layoffs from ESPN. Some big names, man. I know some of our people. Dang, I felt bad for Jalen Rose for sure, man. Because
dang, bro, Jalen Rose, man.
Jalen Rose is out of ESPN, man. 15 years he's been there, like forever, bro. I feel like
him, Jeff Van Gundy,
like
what are y'all doing? Max Kellerman gone. Like, yo, these are some big names, and for the basketball world, Jeff Van Gundy. I'm not gonna hear Jeff Van Gundy no more.
You broke up the trio.
Mark broke up the trio.
Mike Breen and JVJ. It's man. Things are changing.
It's not gonna be the same. Yo, I've been so used to hearing them for the longest.
For sure.
That's gonna be so different for me watching basketball, and it comes finals time. And yo, Jalen Rose, bro, he was one of my favorite analysts to watch. And y'all keep some of these other analysts I don't really care about. I'm not gonna say their names because I respect them. I ain't gonna say their names, bro. But still, if y'all probably guess what I'm talking about. Y'all keep these other analysts though. But it's tough, man. The ESPN is just apparently they've been losing money. The streaming wars is still a thing, man. Because this is primarily a cable company, you know what I'm saying? And they haven't really been able to make up the revenue with streaming yet. Because you know they got their ESPN Plus, but it's not really the reason to get ESPN Plus right now. You know what I'm saying? And
I
you got it. Yeah, I got it too, but there's really no benefit. You know what I'm saying? Like you can still watch the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? They're not really offering like exclusives like that are worth it. So
yeah. I get it. I mean, it's all at the end of the day. It comes down to what's making money, what's good for the business. But man, it's gonna be crazy.
Tough, man. There's no way
to watch.
not keep them. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Man, it sucks, and it's also, it's not even just, obviously we get the news about the big names, but there's plenty of technical producers, technical assistants that
other anchors that are gone.
They have little or less protection than some of the on-camera big names that we know of. So it definitely it sucks, but wishing the best for all of those who got laid off and lost jobs, lost opportunities, and hopefully the next one is the best one or the right one for them. So
yeah, I wonder where Jalen Rose gonna go. Where some of these big names gonna go. Man, it's just gonna be hard. It's really hard for me listening to games like that, man.
It's crazy.
I guess they can get. I think they still got Doris, right? So I like Doris. So I don't know, man. That's tough.
It's difficult, bro. It's a situation, man. Wow. End of an era, like
it is though. End of an era, man.
Crazy.
Dang. Thank you for tuning in to Swish Masters Podcast. We see y'all watching. We see y'all listening. Keep subscribing. Keep sharing. Keep commenting. Man, we really appreciate y'all support. We really do. As the NBA offseason is wrapping up, it'll be about our time to wrap up too. We'll keep monitoring some news and things like that. See when this Dame news drops, and we'll probably meet up again for that. But other than that, we may take a little break. But we'll be back better than ever still. But we appreciate y'all's support.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for tuning in. Keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing. Keep hitting the notification bell. We got new videos. We got new podcast episodes. We got new everything. Swish Masters, Swish Gang, we here. We appreciate y'all. And as soon as that Dame news drops, I'll be on Twitter. So guys, do not exceed the limit for me. I need to know. Elon, I hope he fixed it. But I'm going to be on Twitter. But thank y'all. We appreciate it.
Oh.